Alright folks, welcome back to the shop. We'll do a little housekeeping thing here first. Renamed the channel from my name, Brian Stanga, which YouTube lets you, or didn't used to let you change the name. Once you had the name, you were stuck with it. So I think I formed that in 2006 or something and never uploaded any videos. Just in the last year or so have I really been working on a channel. So got tired of people would ask how to find the channel, and I tell them just look up my name. So I made it a little bit easier. BS in the shop. It's kind of a little catchy. And anybody that knows Randy Richards in the shop, it may sound a lot like his, but if that's the case, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I like Randy Richards. I've talked with him before and sent him a few items, and he's mentioned me before, so I hope he doesn't have any problem with BS in the shop as the name of my channel. But at any rate, I hear Zeke. Let's check in on Zeke and see how he's doing. You nice and comfortable, Zeke? You doing alright? Nothing to talk about? Food? Maybe a treat? No? Don't want any food right now? No? Talk to me. Food? Want a snack? Too tired? It's too hot out there today? What about it? Not even a snack? You don't even want to talk about food? Alright, well anyhow, Zeke is nice and relaxed here, so here we go. Alright folks, where were we? Alright, let's talk about some suppressors. Actually, a lot of folks may not know it, but I got into working metal with suppressors. I finally decided to join the Noiseless Club by ordering these store-bought. These are Mag Tactical. This is the what is this? This is the Aries. It's a 7.62, and this is the 5.56. It's a SS Elite. Now, if you know anything about buying suppressors, you have to pay for them. When you go through a store, you do a Form 4, and they get transferred into your name, and then that takes about 10 months, and or well, it did. And during that time period, it stays at the store, locked up in their safe, waiting for the ATF paperwork to go through. When I did that, I logged into the ATF's website and got to looking around, registered, and I found Form 1s where you could apply for a tax stamp and build your own suppressor. So I did that, and hell, the first stamp came back in 30 days, so I had a tax stamp ready to build a suppressor and no way to build it. So I ordered actually I went to Harbor Freight and bought one of those little mini lathes. I think it was like a 7x10 or 7x12, and it was just so small, it just no rigidity to it. And then I moved up to a bigger lathe that was a Grizzly GO602, which was a 10x22, and it gave me some room to work. But anyhow, that's how I got into working metal, and I'll just give you a little bit of progression. This was the first one I made. It's actually the tube and the end caps. I bought that from an online deal, and this has got what do you call it? Freeze plugs. Yeah, this suppressor has about 13 freeze plugs stacked up in there. They're not formed in any way, they're just center drilled. First one's got several different holes in it around the perimeter, and then they all have center holes, and it works very well. It's got a pretty loud first round pop, and the problem, and this is a 5.56, so it's hard to suppress 5.56 anyway, because you got that sonic crack. But anyhow, then I moved on to a 30 caliber, and this has got 60-degree cones in it, about a 2-inch blast area, blast baffle, and then 60-degree cones. Then I moved on to a titanium based tube, titanium end cap, but it does have steel and aluminum baffles in it. And I've got 2 more stamps, and I've got 24 inches of titanium tubing, and I'm trying to figure out the best baffle system to make. This titanium has got these M baffles in it, and works pretty good, but if you folks got any ideas on a different baffle design, I'd love to hear it, because I'm getting ready to make another one, and I want to do something a little bit different. I'm not set up to do monocores. That really doesn't work very well unless you have a CNC or something. But at any rate, I've got an inexpensive bore cam. I'm going to go through and look. We'll show you the internals on all of these suppressors. Anyhow, here we go. Alright folks, what we're looking at here is the very first suppressor I made. It's using freeze plugs. I think it's a Dorman 555104. It's this first plug. I drilled a few holes around the perimeter, just trying to make a blast baffle. But basically, with the freeze plugs, it's basically takes on a shape of like a washer with a collar around it, so it works pretty good as your first suppressor model. The tube was very heavy, steel, very thick, so that suppressor came out very heavy. As we go down through the baffles, I think there was 13 in here. You can see some letters. That's actually the word China. The C and A left out of China is right in the middle of these suppressors, the baffles. So when I drilled them out, the way I did that, I simply, very crude, I chucked up each freeze plug and drilled a center hole in it. It actually come out pretty good. I've got probably over 500 rounds of 223 through this suppressor. It's held up very well, but it's not very efficient. So that's the path through that first suppressor, and that's my freeze plug, very first one, and we're going to back out of it here now. Now this bore scope is very small, and but it's right at the 556 diameter, so it's pretty tough getting this thing in and out of there. So it'll work better with the 30 caliber cans. I got much more room. Anyhow, on to the next one. Okay, this is the second suppressor I made. I made it using 60-degree cones, which takes a little bit more advantage of the volume of the tube. This time the tube was a little bit lighter, but a little bit longer. This one's a full 10 inches. And I think I've got about 2.5 inches of blast area. And it comes across this first baffle here. And then I think there's 5 other aluminum baffles that are just shaped in a 60-degree cone with a kind of a collar around it to where you wouldn't need a spacer between each one. They kind of got the spacer built into it. And as we go down here through it, you can see that machining's a little bit rough, but it's not too bad. I mean, this one's much more efficient and much quieter than the first freeze plug suppressor. With each one I built, I learned a lot more about it, and getting better with the tools and the lathe. I think at this point I'm starting to learn that 10 by 22 lathe pretty good. And here we're out the other end. Give a little wave in. We're starting back out. And we'll move on to the next one. I think we'll skip ahead to the one of the Mag Tactical suppressors. Alright folks, now we're looking at a Mag Tactical 762 suppressor. And this is a stainless steel body with, I think this is rated at full auto, or at any rate I think the baffles are in Connell, or at least this first blast baffle. And as you can see, it's a pretty steep cone baffle, and it's got a large blast area. And then I think it's got 5 regular baffles inside of it. And you can see these are machined much better than my Form 1 ones are. But I think a CNC just carves these out. And what you see it on the side of these baffles is called clipping, where they come in with a end mill and kind of cut a space right at the side of the opening. Has something to do with relieving the gas pressure and just making it more efficient. And now we're backing back out of it. And this is the 30 caliber version, and the 5.56 version is identical. It's just a little bit shorter, and I don't think the blast chamber is quite as deep. But this is a very good suppressor. I don't think either one of these are being made anymore. Matter of fact, I don't even know if Mag Tactical is still in business, but at any rate, it was very, as far as suppressors go, this thing was less than $500, and you can spend a lot of money buying a suppressor. With that being said, making a suppressor, we'll look at the titanium one that I made here next, and I'll give you an idea of how much money I've got into it. So here we are, moving on to the next one. So what we have here is the latest suppressor that I've built. It's a titanium housing with one stainless steel blast baffle and the rest are aluminum. Also has a titanium end cap. But this one I got a little more advanced. All the baffles in it are M baffles, and you can see that I've got them clipped, where you just take on the edge of the baffle, right at the edge of the hole, and you mill it down. And I think it gives it more efficiency somehow about affecting the bullet's point of impact. But again, this can has got good volume and it's really light. This thing is, I think it's just under a pound. No, I think it's actually 19 ounces, a little bit over 1 pound. Whereas the other one was, compared to the stainless steel one that I made with the heavy wall, was almost 2 pounds. Well, that doesn't seem like a lot when you hang it on the end of a rifle. It makes a substantial weight difference on the end. But at any rate, it's been a good experience machining these, making these suppressors. I had got a lot of experience of internal and external threading. So there's a good bit to it. It really helped me out getting into it, making these suppressors. But anyhow, we're out the other end, and we'll start backing out of it here now. Alright, just to give you an idea of the cost, for this titanium suppressor, I've got about $100 in it, as far as the titanium tube, which is about $4 an inch. It's a 10-inch suppressor. Bar of aluminum, 1.5 inches in diameter. It's really not a whole lot of money as far as raw materials on this, but I will never buy another manufactured suppressor. Knowing what I know now, you can make one much cheaper, given the fact that you have enough tools and whatnot to do it. You can gain the experience. Just be careful. Follow all the laws. Alright, we'll be making another suppressor and I'll document it. Thanks. Hit the subscribe button. Here we go. Come on, Zeke. Come on. Come on. Well, come on, get in the water. Come on, Zeke. What? Get out here. Come on. Now come on out here to me. Come on. All right. Out. Out. What are you doing? What? You scratching your butt? You know what you're doing? What's that all about?